Okay, so we're diving deep today into something pretty fundamental,
Mm,
like the absolute basics
yeah.
of English greetings and introductions.
right.
We're talking about how to make a good first impression. Uh, you know,
Yeah. Those crucial first moments of a conversation.
exactly. So how to say hello, how to introduce yourself.
And how to say goodbye, of course.
Right, exactly. So the goal here is to equip you with those essential building blocks. You need to feel comfortable, navigating those first exchanges in English.
It's amazing how much is packed into those initial interactions. They
Right.
might seem like simple pleasantries, but
Oh, they're so important.
they really are. They lay the groundwork for the entire conversation.
Absolutely. So let's jump right in. Let's start with greetings. The material you've given us here starts with the most common ones. Hello, hi, and hey.
Mm.
Now, at first glance, they all seem to do the same job, right? But I think there are some subtle differences.
There are absolutely. Hello is your safest bet. You can use it in almost any situation, formal or informal. A business meeting or a quick chat with a neighbor, hello, always works.
Right.
Now, hi is a little less formal, more for everyday situations.
Got it.
And then there's hey. Now, hey is very casual, usually used between friends or close colleagues.
Yeah, I was going to say I wouldn't use hey with someone I just met.
Probably not. It could come across as a bit too familiar or even disrespectful, depending on the context.
Okay, so it's all about understanding the level of formality.
Exactly.
Now, what about greetings that are tied to specific times of day? We have good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Yeah, those are important too. Getting the timing right can really make a difference.
For sure.
Good morning is typically used from the time you wake up until,
Noon before 12 p.m.
yeah, that's right. Then from noon until around 5 p.m., it's good afternoon.
Okay.
After 5 p.m., you would use good evening.
And what about good night?
Good night is a little different. It's almost always used as a farewell when someone is going to bed or when you're leaving late at night.
Oh, I see. So you wouldn't say good night when you first meet someone in the evening.
No, not really. It would sound like you're already ending the conversation.
Got it. So good night is more like a closing remark.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered greetings. Now let's move on to introductions. You know how to actually introduce yourself to someone.
Okay.
The material gives us a few examples like, hi, my name is Rahul. Hello, I am Priya. And I'm Kit. Nice to meet you.
Right.
What do you notice about those?
Well, they all start with a greeting, which is important.
Right.
And then they state the person's name, and notice how they sometimes use the contraction I'm and sometimes the full I am.
Yeah, I see that.
I'm is a bit more casual, while I am is more formal, but both are perfectly acceptable.
Okay, and then that phrase, nice to meet you at the end.
Yes, that's a standard way to end an introduction. It shows politeness and warmth.
It's like a signal that you're happy to be making this connection. Now, the material also talks about how to add a little more information after you introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Like where you're from or what you do.
Right. You might say something like, I am from India, or I live in Delhi.
Yeah. And those little details can be great conversation starters.
They are. They give the other person something to connect with.
Exactly, like, oh, I've always wanted to visit India, or Delhi is such a vibrant city.
Right. And you can also share information about your work or your studies, like I work as a teacher or I am a student.
I like how the example conversation between Rohan and Aditi shows this natural progression.
Me too.
Yeah.
It starts with their names, then moves to where they're from and what they do.
Yeah, it feels very organic.
It does. One question leads to the next. It's like a little dance.
The conversational dance.
Uh-huh, exactly.
Okay, so we've said hello and introduced ourselves.
Yeah.
Now, what's a typical next step?
Asking how the other person is doing right.
Right.
We have a few options here. How are you? How's it going? And how have you been?
Now, how are you? Seems like the most basic one.
It is. It's the most widely used and appropriate in most situations.
Okay.
How's it going? Is a little more informal, something you might use with someone you know.
Right.
And how have you been usually implies that you haven't seen the person in a while.
I see.
Or that there's some existing relationship.
Okay. And then the responses tend to be pretty standard.
I do. I'm good, thank you. I'm doing great. Not bad. Those are all common responses.
Yeah. And it's important to be polite and reciprocate.
Absolutely. Like in the example when person 2 replies, I'm good, thanks. What about you?
Right. It's that back and forth that makes it a conversation.
Exactly.
Okay, we've covered halos, introductions, and how to ask someone how they're doing. Now we need to know how to say goodbye.
Right.
The material lists a few common farewells. Goodbye, see you later, take care, and have a nice day.
Goodbye is the most formal and direct way to end a conversation.
Okay.
See you later implies that you expect to see the person again.
Right.
Take care is a warmer, more considerate farewell.
And have a nice day is a generally polite and positive way to close.
Exactly.
And the example closing exchange is nice and concise.
It is. It was nice talking to you. Same here. See you later. Bye. Take care.
Yeah, it feels very natural.
It does. Those final remarks just reinforce the positive interaction.
So there you have it. We've broken down the essential elements of basic English conversation.
We have, from greetings to introductions to saying goodbye.
It's amazing how much we've covered.
It is. And it's important to remember that these basic phrases are just the beginning.
Right. They're the foundation for more complex communication.
Exactly.
Now, as you think about these basics, I want you to consider the different scenarios where you might use each one. Like the way you greet a new client might be different from how you greet a classmate.
Absolutely. Context is everything.
It is. And think about how these small choices can impact the impression you make.
That's a great point. The way you use language can really shape how others perceive you.
It can. So I encourage you to practice these phrases, experiment with them, and see how they feel in different situations.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how we learn.
Absolutely.
Here.
So keep practicing, keep exploring, and keep building your confidence in English.
And remember, this is just the starting point. There's a whole world of language out there waiting to be discovered.
Exactly. So keep diving deeper, keep learning, and keep connecting with others.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
We'll see you next time.